All right, so we are live. I'm here with my lovely co host, Alicia. My name is
Hi.
Vina, if you've never been here before, but I'm sure most of you who are going to be jumping in have. Alicia, want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel?
Sure. I'm Alicia, aka Birdie in the Books. You can call me Birdie. I've been called that my whole entire life. But my channel is Birdie in the Books, and there'll be content. I'm planning a lot of content for February. So, if you're not subscribed, hit the notification bell because I don't have a schedule. So I just pop up when I can.
Yeah, February is, I feel like, going to be an interesting month. I'm also like in the process of trying to plan some stuff. I have
Yes.
an author interview coming up. I just confirmed it. I'm going
Yay!
to have Ladarian Williams on my channel in February. So we're going to sit down and talk. You will be seeing the graphics and hearing about that
I'm
soon.
so excited.
That should be a good time. He's great to talk to. So, and we're going to be talking about books, plays, everything. So that should be fun. And right now I have like some blog posts that I'm working on that I'm going to work on for the first sprint because I'm trying to get my interviews in, not just like on the channel, but I used to consistently do author interviews on my blog every month, and I fell off the past few months because life was lifing. So
Yeah.
and I was doing it consistently for 2 years.
That's how
So
I found you.
so
Wasn't
I
even
want to get
YouTube.
back into it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was for 2 years every single month doing an author interview.
Yeah.
So I want to get back into it. I do have one that should be coming up on the 5th of February because I worked with the publisher on that. So I want to work on that. Then I need to sit down and do some questions for some other ones and kind of figure out what my content is going to look like for the month.
My content is all over the place, and I'm like planning a couple months ahead because I'm trying to schedule out author interviews. And you have to plan like 2-3 months in advance with that stuff. So it's like I tend to accidentally like forget to plan for now because I'm so used to planning a couple months in advance for other stuff.
Yeah, with the author interviews, like I was good on like having them a month or two out in advance. Like I knew,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna drop. I got the questions and answers. I'm gonna drop it for the next month.
Yeah.
So that's part of why I need to get back on track. I
Me
see
too.
PA Summers came in. Hello, hello.
Hi.
What are you working on today? So yeah, that's what I will be working on the first round. I just need to finish up some interview questions before I can hop into writing my for the fantasy project that I've been working on.
Yay.
So we're gonna get right to it and get into a 30-minute sprint. Let me just make sure I don't have it muted this time because I definitely messed that
I
up.
do that all the time.
I definitely was on a sprint the other day and like we were just vibing and reading and writing, and then I did not hear the timer go off because I had it muted.
Oh no.
I was like trying to work on my whip, taking a brief break from work. Yep, you gotta take that break. Um, yeah, I have a little over 45K now on my fantasy, so that is
Yay.
amazing. That it's like about, I say, at the halfway point because I don't want it to be super long. It's probably gonna end up being around like 90K at the most. So
So like 350 pages ish.
yeah, so like I am making good progress, but I want to finish ideally by the end of spring writing the first draft. That
Yay.
so I really need to like get on it. And I have all
And
these
you're
ideas.
working
Like I
on
have
your
like,
romance too.
yeah, I am working on the romance that's kind of on the back burner for now. It's holiday romance. So I can
Yeah.
always pick it back up. But I wrote like the seasonal parts already. So then like the general romance parts I just need to fill in.
The
So I'll
gaps.
pick that one back up. But right now, like I'm back onto my fantasy project
Yay.
and getting that finished. Thank you, A Summers. I appreciate it. So yeah.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to read it.
So yeah, we're gonna hop into a 30-minute sprint. I set the timer.
And I apologize if you can hear my dryer going crazy right now.
Let me go ahead and say hello to read. Listen, hello, KJ.
Hi.
So I'm finishing an audiobook for a book club while going through my kids' clothes to donate. That's always good. Like, that's another thing about audiobooks when you get to multitask.
My favorite thing to do while reading and while doing an audiobook is dishes. For some
Yeah,
reason,
that's usually if I'm like a lot of times I am just sitting down listening to the book, but like if I am doing another task, it's usually the dishes while listening to the audiobook. I'll be at the sink or like cooking something in the kitchen. Let's go ahead and get this sprint started. We'll see you guys in 30. All right. How did everybody do? Let me know how you did in the comments. And I will just BRB one moment because I was ordering food and it just came like right at the timer ended. I will be right back.
No problem. I got 3 chapters continued in The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I'm really, really liking it. It's one of those books that is just extremely hard to explain because there's so much going on, and I don't want to spoil it for people if you want to read it. But it's very like lyrical in its writing. You can definitely tell the author is some sort of a musician because of how he writes.
I'm back. I thought I was gonna have to like wait until after 4:30, but then the place opened early. So I'm like, let me just order now.
Ooh, yum.
I got street corn nachos.
That sounds so amazing. Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah, it's pub food. And you know, like usually like you're waiting till like after 4 for them to open.
Yeah. Yep.
So I see some people came through. There was like a bird outside my window at the beginning of the sprint, and it was just going like off, like really loudly.
It's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. Luckily, it kind of flew away. So Jaleesa, reading Beyond the Book cover, came through. Hello, hello.
I love that your name. Reading Beyond the Book cover.
I know, it's such a good channel name.
It's awesome.
Mr. Roar Surrey, thank you for and bye.
You're literally everywhere. I'd want to know how much time you have because you're in everybody's sprints, which is fantastic.
Yeah, another one. He's another one who just he like stops by and says hello to everyone.
Yeah. I secretly wonder if some people are just vampires like Pat.
Yeah. I am a bit of a vampire, but I just like don't always remember to open up YouTube.
No, me too. I'm the same way. Or I'll pop in and
like
watch it, but I won't comment.
Yeah, I'll be like mindlessly scrolling on Instagram instead.
Yep, same.
TA Summer says, I just got 960 words in this horror romance with, so just shy of 1K written. That's great.
Please tell me more. A horror romance. You've got me intrigued.
I heard good things about that book.
This one. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's very hard to explain, though. And I don't want to spoil.
AJ made it to chapter 13 of There's No Way I Die First. It started off slow and was almost the DNF. The audiobook is decent and it got so much better. I think that's the one I DNF'd because I couldn't get past like chapter 2. Summer says, I was writing an emotionally intense scene. So it's like, yeah, sometimes when you're just in that scene, like the words just start flowing. Pat is a vampire. Lisa says, keep going. Love, listen, I thought the same thing at first. I haven't seen Pat come through lately. I know she's not like on social media.
Yeah, that's what makes it tough is like I wanted to send her a Christmas card and I have no way to like
contact her.
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of lives and sprints, but I gotta comment more. I try to comment just because the algorithm and I know how it is.
Yeah.
And lately I find with the algorithm, if I type in booktube, it keeps showing me the same people over and over again. And it's like the top newer people who've like joined booktube in the past like year or so.
the people that didn't build their community from booktube people.
Yeah, so like I'm getting like a lot of like the lifestyle girlies, and then they all read the same books, or like they read what's popular. So I'm like seeing the same books, and I, even though I like will exit out, I still keep getting pushed them first. And I
Why?
have
Why
to like,
is that? Because like I purposely like I'm like this isn't content for me. Please don't show it, and it's still.
yeah. So then I have to like when I'm doing the search, like adjust the filters a little bit, like from the past week and stuff like that. Over or I'll have to do over like 4 to 20 minutes, because or else it'll give me like shorts, just like shorts
Yep.
after shorts after shorts.
Yep. And it also doesn't help that people I follow are now doing a lot of shorts. So like my feed seems to be not that shorts are bad. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like my feed seems to be all shorts lately.
No, shorts are good if it like introduces me to a book or something.
Yeah.
But the shorts I'm getting are not. They're just like whatever popular sound is trending, and like they could be holding up any book.
The other thing that pisses me off, and
Like
I don't know,
generally just like about being a reader type of shorts.
yeah, and watching people make coffee.
Yeah, and watching people make coffee or
I'm like,
a reader.
I love coffee. I'm a coffeeaholic, but I don't need to watch someone else make their cup of coffee every day.
Yeah, like I said yesterday in somebody else's live, coffee is not a personality trait.
No. Trust me, you don't want to talk to me if I haven't had coffee, but
And
that's
I'm
not
like, I would watch
my
the coffee.
personality.
I would watch the coffee B-roll and the coffee like shorts if they were showing me how to make something.
Right. Yeah.
Like if they were showing me how to make like a special latte, I'd be all here for it. If you're just showing me your Keurig pouring the coffee into a glass, I don't really care.
And it's got to be like a like seasonal appropriate mug or whatever, and I'm just like, everybody does that.
Yeah. So, like, even like I used to be able to just do the search for BookTube and find interesting people, and now it's like a lot harder.
It's become a pain.
Yeah, so I've just been sticking to my people.
Every once in a while, if I'm looking for someone brand new, I look up the what is it, the BookTube newbie tag, or
yeah, that's like the BookTube
like
newbie tag is like the only place I find like now that you can find new people.
Yeah, if you look up a specific video.
They push that a lot. So a lot of people will get like good views on their first video because of the BookTube newbie tag pushing, like the algorithm pushes that a lot. But then like I'll get the same people over and over again.
Hey, but don't listen to me. I completely booked against everything YouTube told me to do. And I just started with an author interview.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm here.
I didn't even do the BookTube newbie tag.
No.
I was like, everybody already knows me. I'm like around a lot. So
I got tagged in one that I really want to do because it's more of a music based. It's called the Led Zeppelin book tag, and
that sounds interesting.
And it's recommending a book regarding a Led Zeppelin song, and I grew up with Led Zeppelin, so my friend tagged me in it, so I was like, I'll do that one.
Yeah, I like unique tags like that.
Yeah, it's different.
Hello, Samantha Marie.
Hi.
I can't sprint hop like most people do. I focus on one at a time and comment quite a bit. Maybe too much. I can be carried. No, that's great. Plus commenting pushes it up in the algorithm. Like, never apologize for commenting too much. Like,
it's greatly appreciated.
I comment as I'm going along watching it. So like,
yeah,
you might get like about 4 or 5 comments from me.
And I just subscribed to you, Jaleesa, too. So I found you finally. It took me a minute.
I have to type channel names or book titles. Yeah, that too. I actually find that's how a lot of people have been finding me lately. Is like typing certain book names, like, and they'll find me through like standalone reviews.
Yeah, and I've noticed that and this isn't a dig towards anybody, but if you're under a certain subscriber count, you have to type in a video title to find the channel itself. At least that's what people told me, that they found me through other people sharing my one interview. That's how they found
me. Yeah. Interviews are cool too because I find that people come back to them.
Yeah. they're more of like, they don't do well in the moment, but like all of a sudden I've had like a burst of people watching certain interviews that I did 6 months ago, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But like, what made this? I'm just out of curiosity, what blew this one up specifically?
Yeah, maybe they were just like looking up the author and they like it came up in Google or something.
Yeah,
Although Google is not what it used to be either.
no, it's
I
not.
feel like Reddit has now replaced the Google search engine.
Hey, I found some really. I'm not a book talk person, but I've found some really good content on Reddit of like where to start with certain comic runs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or
Reddit
Reddit.
is just giving me a lot of information lately that Google used to give me.
Right, exactly.
I hate B-roll, like, dude, if I want to, but it's so boring. Yeah, like, who really wants to see me make a bagel and hot cocoa? That's what I'm saying.
I don't mind it occasionally. I don't like it
Yeah.
when it's every single video.
Yeah. Make a lifestyle vlog. I don't think
Yeah.
people are interested in my lifestyle content at all. So,
I
like,
love
that's
yours,
perfectly
but
fine.
there are certain people that have like, it's a reading vlog, but it's like 45 minutes of just them working on something, and then they talk about books for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't like in reading blogs when I have to keep like scrolling through to find the reading sections. So I don't
Yeah,
tend to watch a lot of the ones that I'm recommended
same.
because I'm just really here to just hear your thoughts about the book.
Right.
Really information about the book, exactly.
Yes. Oh, it drives me nuts. I'm like, and then people making videos about books I haven't read yet, but I'm going to recommend to you.
That is getting on my nerves lately, and I keep hitting not interested on those people, and they still keep
And
coming
they
up.
still pop up. Like, why?
Yeah, it really does help to just comment while you're watching, and I just like
Yeah.
I do it anyway because I'm gonna forget like if I sit there and don't. Heavy-handed B-roll, a little bit here and there is enough. Yeah, yep. Like is it because there's you if you want to just if I want to watch people just like making drinks, there's specifically creators on YouTube who do that.
Yeah.
Like you can look up cafe videos and you'll see baristas just pouring drink after drink if you want to get your fix.
I do like some of them, like if they show you how to make like little hacks of like how to make a certain thing that you don't want to pay for anymore because it's not too expensive. But like, hey, if you want this at home, this is what you do.
Yeah, like if you're giving me the recipe, that's different. Like
Right.
I'll watch if you're showing me how to make a drink. Like on Instagram, I love watching the people make cocktails. Like those
Yeah.
videos, especially around Christmas, that kind of content was really popular where people were showing you like they would fill like the different ice trays with fruit and juices and make these cool drink combos. I liked that.
Yeah.
So I was like resharing to like a lot of cocktails from like people I was following.
I love cocktails. I haven't had a cocktail in a long time.
I love cocktails. I had some last week. Went out. They had this fest. It was a festival, but I don't feel like it was like a big festival around here. Like
Mm-hmm.
I miss. They used to have a bigger festival, which I miss greatly. But they did like ice sculptures, and
Oh,
I
cute.
I was out at the bars. So the one still had their seasonal menu running from Christmas. So
I
that
love
was
when it lasts a little bit longer past Christmas.
yeah. So I got some good cocktails on Saturday. Luckily, I don't
Oh,
get the
yeah.
Stanley Cup videos on my feed at all on any site, thankfully.
I get like dupes. Like, hey, if you can't afford a Stanley Cup, here's a Yeti that does the same exact thing but better.
Yeah, I don't get that content, thankfully. Yeah, just comment as you're watching the longer videos, especially like I'm somebody who tends to have to stop and start when I'm watching a longer video.
Me too.
So I will comment from when I was watching the beginning, come back hours later and comment
Edit.
again because I just watch the second half.
Does that mess up like the view? Like,
I know it does shorten the view, like the
okay.
but the like because it shortens like the length of like because it'll show like
Three.
people watch so much for this length, so it'll shorten the duration of how long people are watching, but then they'll get another view from you going back in and watching it again.
Okay. So I don't feel so bad when there's like 4-hour videos and I'm just like, I can only do like an hour right now.
Yeah, so like it'll count as multiple views because it'll count like every time you go
Okay.
back and watch. It's just that the duration will get shorter. No sucks for shopping. It's always Shein or Amazon. Yep. Yeah, Google, if you try to use it, you really do have to go to multiple pages. Like when I'm doing my author interviews, I like to Google to see if they've done interviews anywhere else before, what types of questions they were asked, if they were asked certain questions, just information I can find about the author, like things they've written in the past, like even if it's not books, like a lot of authors have written for magazines and stuff. So I
Twitter works.
just want to know about that stuff. And it is hard to find stuff on Google now.
It shouldn't be hard because that's the whole point of Google, but
yeah. And it used to be very easy. I don't watch those. I don't. Because they just kind of pick up the same books that we already see online all the time. And I'm like, I know you bought that from Amazon.
I don't know. Like, the thing that bugs me is I don't want to do B-roll if there's a ton of people there. Like, I feel like that's awkward.
Yeah, that is very...
Like, if someone's walking through your shot and whatnot. Because what used to be a thing was people would prop up their camera or their phone and, like, on the shelf and read or whatever. And I'm like, it's Barnes and Noble. It's not like your own personal library. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I didn't understand those reading vlogs in the Barnes and Noble. But, like, I don't know, it's very awkward filming in public. Like, because you're trying not to get, like, people in your shot. Like, it depends on where I am. Like, when I was museum hopping, you're already on camera because from the time you order those tickets, like a part of your agreement is they can take your footage, they can take footage of you and use it wherever. So I don't feel as bad about that if like people get in my shot at the museum because that's unavoidable. Like
I just try to like I'm always weary when it's like I don't do vlogs mainly because of like I go to places with a lot of kids and I'm just like I don't feel comfortable being an older sibling myself. I'm like I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't really put the kids, like, when I'm with them, I don't really include them in my content too much, like, every once in a while, I might drop a picture or something.
Yeah. Like, you'll see pictures of my younger siblings on my Instagram, but, like, you'll only see certain photos because I try to be very careful of...
Yeah, like, if they're wearing, like, school, like, something with their school name on it, no.
Mm-hmm. Or their library, like, the library card or something.
Yeah.
There's way too many weird people on the internet.
Even
Hence
like
why you won't ever hear me say my last name.
Yeah, and even like if I'm like out and about around town, I won't film like if I'm going to a festival or something, I won't film certain ones, like if it's in a really recognizable place.
Yeah, it's like you have to be extra careful now, and vlogs are the easiest way for people to accidentally slip up and not realize.
Yeah. I had timestamps on my vlog type videos so people can jump around, and that's really helpful. I need to do that. But I haven't done a long vlog since the museum stuff.
Yeah, since your trip to DC.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Philly this weekend because I'm going to the African American Children's Book Fair.
Oh, that's happening this weekend?
Yeah. Yay. I only heard about it last year, and when I heard about it, it was literally the day of.
Yeah.
So
that's what always happens. Like, and then I move out of Philly, and all this stuff is popping up, and I'm like, where was this stuff when I was still living there?
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this is cool. It had a lineup of a lot of picture book authors who like I've talked about on my Instagram this past year. So I'm excited to go and meet them. There's supposed to be like giveaways and stuff. So I'm like, maybe I'll score some like free goodies and stuff for the kids.
Can't hurt.
Because once I read a lot of the picture books I get from the publishers, once I read them, I pass them right along to the kids.
Yeah.
So my nieces and nephews and godkids, they have books upon books from me.
Yeah, my little brothers are like, you always get us books, but we love it. I'm like, I can't help it.
Yeah, so I'm like excited about that. If I vlog that, it might just be like a little mini vlog. But that's like from 1 to 4, so I'll be like doing my
Oh,
shopping and stuff, and then I'll go to that after, and then head home.
yeah, that's not that bad.
I think just one of those book girls who never reads her IG. Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about too. I keep getting that girl's IG too, and I keep putting not interested.
And they still pop up, and I'm just like, but what's the point of like giving me the option to put not interested if they keep on popping up?
The worst is Facebook, because you can't put not interested on any of the random crap on there.
And I'm like, how did I get this?
Like, I tend not to be on there too much because I can't find my friends on Facebook anymore, because
No.
too many random
Everything's an ad.
suggested posts now over there.
Yeah.
And you can, unlike Instagram, where I can kind of mute them to an extent, I cannot mute them on Facebook.
I wish you could. That would be great.
I said, I guess like be an egg trip and a haul on my channel. Well, I will watch your video where you talk about reading the books. But I just don't watch like the shopping videos. Hey, Anthony, thank you so much for popping in. Reading on the book cover. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, every time I see them go into every time I would watch people going into B&N, they'd always just pick up the same popular books that we know everybody's reading. So
you know it's going to happen a lot
Sarah J.
because of the new
Maas
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah. Well, I know that book just dropped from her, so
it's going to be everywhere.
People are like, oh my gosh, we're going to get the content everywhere. Most of the people I follow don't read her like that. Mm-hmm. So I don't expect it to flood my timeline.
But they're not like insane about it.
Yeah. And the ones I do follow who read her, they're not generally the type to just rush and put out the video, just, you know, to be the first to put out the video. So I don't really expect to see it. I like seeing people's library content.
I love it.
Like, I feel like I see a lot of different books when people do library hauls versus when they do bookstore hauls. Because I feel like when it's the bookstore hauls, it's like the more popular titles, but when they do the library ones, they'll find like the lesser seen ones.
Yeah. I do more that kind of stuff, like if I post on Instagram. Like, I went to a bookstore yesterday that's run by a older retired woman, and it's just a used bookstore, and it's fantastic. It's huge. It's literally a warehouse full of books. It's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's like 20 minutes from where I live.
Yeah, I've like put them like 1 or 2 on Instagram, but you won't like catch me doing a long video usually.
No.
I get the TJ Maxx haul of Stanley's or something like this. I don't get that either, and I watch a lot of TJ Maxx content. I just never think to get the
TJ Maxx stuff.
I love watching people's TJ Maxx hauls because it keeps me from going into the store for no reason.
Yeah,
they show like that, and the Dollar Tree vlogs keep me from going into the store for no reason. Like they'll show because they'll show you when there's good stuff in TJ Maxx and when there's not.
Yeah, I fell in that group of people that were trying to find the Loungefly bags. I didn't find any, but I did try.
I found some at my TJ Maxx, but I haven't gone in since the beginning of January. But I found some Loungefly, but they weren't Loungefly that I was interested in. It was like Star Wars.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm a Disney girly.
Yeah, I did not want Star Wars. I want the Disney ones.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I can find a Little Mermaid Loungefly.
We went through we drove for like 2 hours because even my boyfriend was like, we gotta find one because they're everywhere. And of course, none of them around us had them. And I was like,
Yeah,
darn
because
it.
people are posting some really good ones.
Yeah, and I'm like, where do you live? Please tell me so I know where to go.
So like I'm gonna go to TJ Maxx this weekend and I'm like gonna check out the bags and see if they
Yeah.
have any. But I was interested when I started seeing the Loungefly stuff pop up. I'm like, where was this when I was going
Because
to Disney?
Loungefly is so expensive.
It
And,
is.
and the only reason I have one is it was a gift from my younger siblings.
Yeah,
They specifically chose it for me, so that's why I have one.
I can't drop $80 on a Loungefly backpack, but I will drop $39.99.
Yeah. That's
And
as high
feel
as
yeah.
I think my dad's wife told me with tax it was like 41. So I was like, okay. And knowing that my younger sibling specifically picked it out because of the character that was on it, I was like, I'm gonna love this thing forever. It's never gonna go anywhere.
Yeah. Do I need another like purse
No.
bag? No. Do I want one? Yes.
Do I scour the Disney websites and look at the new ones? Yeah, but do I ever purchase one? No. But do I
Yeah.
look? Yeah.
That's why I like watching the TJ Maxx content. Like it fulfills my need, like so that I don't go out and
Yeah.
shop and buy everything. Yeah. I just find that I just see the same books over and over again. I do find a lot of people between BookTube and Book Talk especially buy for content.
Yeah.
I feel like people buy a little bit less for content on Bookstagram because they also just get gifted a lot on Bookstagram.
I'm also very guilty of it when I started everything that I fell into that like I need to read this for content even though it doesn't interest me kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very easy to fall in that trap of wanting to get certain books for content, needing to buy everything.
And seeing
Like
that Halls did well.
yeah,
Like
Halls never actually did anything for me, so it didn't matter.
I don't understand for certain channels why they, like I'm this might be weird about me, but I'm more interested when people unhaul stuff. Like
I love an unhaul.
like those are the videos I'll actually watch.
No, I love an unhaul.
Unhauls.
I do my seasonal unhauls, but I love watching unhauls too because I like if you got to the book, hearing like why you're unhauling the book, whether you like the like even if you
Yeah.
like whether you like the book, if you didn't like the book, if you just changed your mind about it, I like to know.
Yeah. And like it's okay to say that you still liked the book and got rid of it.
Yeah, and it's actually
Like,
caused me to go back and look at people's videos, like where they talked about a book previously, and I might have missed that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like some B-roll, but not excessive B-roll. But like, I don't need to see you making your coffee every morning. But if you go on a walk to the library, somewhere interesting, I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a
That's
little.
exactly how I feel. I don't want to see you making your lunch every day.
Yeah, like I can take you, like showing me quick B-roll of the library, or like you go on a walk down the street. Sometimes on my stories, like every once in a while, if I'll be out and like the neighborhood looks nice that day, I might post like a quick little
Yeah.
snippet. Like that's the type of stuff I like, but I really don't need to see your Keurig slowly pouring the coffee every day in every video.
Or like pouring a glass of alcohol or something. Like I don't care. I can do that in my own house.
Yeah, I like when Eric and people take us to cool places. And I'm like a big travel like vlog person too, so I love that. Like I found the Amtrak video side of YouTube, and that
Yeah.
has been fun.
Yeah.
Just seeing like the people's train experiences, like do the ones who are doing like the overnight trains.
I want to do one. They look like so
I
much
want to do one so badly. I've been saying that for months now. I want to do one.
Yeah.
And like my friend, it was funny because one of my friends, like randomly brought it up the one day we were talking. She's like, "I would love to take the train to Florida." I'm like, "I was just thinking about taking the train to
Yeah.
Florida." It's just the price is like going to be a little bit more. It's going to be more than taking a
Yeah.
flight to Florida. It's a problem.
It depends on where you go. Like there was
Yeah.
one I saw that it was from the train was from Florida to Virginia and it was cheaper than flying.
Yeah, you have to find the sales too. Like I
Yeah.
know Amtrak does like periodic sales and stuff where you can get the tickets cheap. I want to do that, take the train to Florida, and I want to take the train to New England. Because you know how they have the train that goes to New England every single day?
Yeah.
I want to take it, but I want to take it in the fall, like around
When
September.
it's pretty.
Yeah, when it's pretty. I think taking
Yeah.
the train in the fall, like to New England, would be nice because you can just see all the scene. And New England is such a long drive that I'd
It's
rather
so
just
pretty.
take the train.
Yeah. I might do some vlog content in August because I'm gonna go. They're having a Comic-Con here for the weekend in
Ooh,
August.
that should be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, filming in public is awkward, especially because you don't want to get people in your shot. You go to the park with my kids, just kept trying to be in the video, and I realized the occasion was too recognizable. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, that's why I won't film it like at certain festivals in town because I'm like, this is like a very
Very
centralized
specific.
location. You are going to be
Yeah.
able to see exactly where I am. You might get people in the shot who I don't need to be in the shot.
Yeah.
Because I remember even when I never posted my first DC vlog, even when I was trying to do that, like we were on a trip and like there were kids there, so I'm like trying to make sure I don't get them in the shot because
Yeah.
we specifically went with like a charity that was like working with kids, and then like I had to
So
make
there
sure
was
like
no way to really
family
avoid
members
it.
didn't get in the shot, so
Yeah.
it just was like, and then just like going to museums, it's hard in general to vlog because it's like people chopped up like as far as footage. Stuck in my it's feeling awkward and stuck in my graphs. Yeah, I've erased a lot of stuff, or I have a lot of stuff still sitting on my phone that from filming in public that you're just not going to see.
I just did a phone clear out of like all my old thumbnails. I was like, I still have all these. Why?
I usually create my thumbnails through Canva, so they're all on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook is a hellscape, and I refuse to connect to a lot of romance authors on Facebook, and they do a lot of giveaways on Facebook, but I just refuse to connect my personal life to those groups on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I don't
I'm
feel like
only
making
part
a
of
burner.
one group on there.
I just like refuse to go into those groups like with all these
Yeah.
different readers with my full name, so I just can't sign up for those groups.
I only am part of one. Julianne Lindsay has one.
Mm-hmm.
But I've known her long enough that like I can actually genuinely call her a friend, so it's not weird.
Yeah. That Sarah J. Maas. They're always spoiling it. I never even read the series and they spoiled the last
I
one
have
for me.
no interest.
I have no interest either, but they spoiled the last one for me. Like, and I wasn't even looking
I'm
for it.
glad they did because I
All
would
on
be
my
so pissed if
timeline.
I read all that.
Yeah, I'm like, really? When they said that the ending of the last one was, I'm like, really? So then you have to read all that? Nope.
But my favorite, my good friend Roger from Rogers Reads, did a a review that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was like 45 minutes of him just raging about the book, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Highly recommend. I don't mind watching the content if people hate it because it was funny.
The last popular book I read that I raged about was the
Book of Night.
Yeah, that Book of Night mess. Like that one, I was enraged because it was so boring.
That's how I felt about Babel. I buddy read it with
that
Roger,
one
and
was
we were
so.
both raging.
Oh yeah, no, I raged about that one too. I was so bored during that book too.
That was ridiculous.
Both of those books like got their own solo review because I'm like, I had to suffer through this. You're gonna watch my video.
And I put so many notes in it because I was so angry. Now I can't get rid of the damn book. I'm like,
Yeah,
why are you sending much help?
I had an arc and I think I mailed it to somebody. I just was not interested anymore.
It made me get rid of all her other books because I was like, no. I read the Poppy War, the first one, and I had some of the same problems, and I was like, I just think her writing's not for me.
Book of Night, I don't understand how anyone liked that one at all. What
Not many people did, from what I can hear.
there were a couple people like I saw on Twitter who liked it, and I'm like, for what? There was not like there's not literally nothing. Like the main character just like kind of like moves through the book, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
I've never
adult,
read
but it's
anything
one of
by
those
her.
adults where it felt like YA, which is
Yeah.
really
Which is
common right
what,
now and really
with like
annoying.
the past 2 years, it seems like it's been the most common.
Oh yeah, we are getting an influx of that from the big adult fantasy publishers, and they're calling
Yep.
it adult crossover, and I'm like, what crossover?
Not,
Because
but it's not crossover.
nobody who likes people who just strictly read adult fantasy aren't liking these books, and then so like I'm like, you're not getting two audiences like you expect to.
Mm-mm.
It's like the same YA audience is reading those.
Exactly, and that's people
And I
always
read
think
both, but like some of them are those books are just really really boring because they're like mid tier YA.
and some of them like they're just considered adult because of sexual content.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
it.
part that really gets on my nerves. I'm like,
And
why
I'm
is
just
this?
like, ugh.
And why are these characters still teens? Like they're like half the time the character is still 17, 18, or 19. I'm
So
like, for
gross.
why?
It's so gross.
It doesn't even make any sense. And I'm like, I've read plenty of adult books that had teen characters that were very much adult books with like
Yeah.
an adult voice. My
Mm-hmm.
problem with a lot of those books is like there's no adult voice. Like with Book of Night, there's a good portion of the book where she's like 12 and like in flashbacks, and it was like so dumb, and it wasn't even like interesting. She wasn't interesting at 12 years old. That was a bad part too. I'm like, I didn't understand because I'm like, I read what was that one series that was really popular in the 2000s? I heard. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on the series.
The Core Prince?
No, then from the 2000, like from like the 2000s, she had
Oh, the Spiderwick.
Yes, that one.
Is that it?
I read that one. I'm like, I ate those books up as a child, and I don't feel like that was boring. So I didn't understand
I
how all
don't
of a
get
sudden she
it.
didn't know how to write a 12-year-old.
But here's the weird thing, and I don't know if you see it the same way I do, but like when it's a when it's a female protagonist, it's considered YA. But there can be a book about a 6-year-old that's considered adult, 6-year-old boy.
Yeah, the only thing to that I would say is the Black God's Drums. She's 13, but that is definitely not middle grade.
It's on my to read list. I want to read that because I love
like nothing about that feels like any kind of middle grade or YA. That is very much adult. But I do find like that,
it's
like
so weird,
they're blurring the lines right now because
yeah,
they're giving you these teen protagonists in adult, and it reads teen.
Mm-hmm.
And then like so it's reading like the YA books, and then there's a lot of authors who are like writing in both, and the way their writing style, no difference.
Exactly. There's no same thing.
And then they're using like the same name too. Like they're not using like a pen name or like a different pen name or anything.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't haul from the library physically a lot. That's why like I would love to, but I just don't go in there often enough because the branch closest to me that I would easily walk to has the weirdest hours. Like they're not open Friday or Saturday, and then like during the day they open at like no, I think they got rid of that opening in the morning thing, and I think they only open in the afternoon because they used to open in like from like 9 to like 12 and then close for 2 hours and then reopen and then only be open to like 4 or 5. And I think now they just open at 12 or 1 o'clock depending on the day.
Yeah.
So those hours are like really weird. I'm like, well, now I have more free time to go, but then I still don't want to go because that's just too much. And then like a lot of the books that I want, I would have to have them specifically send it there.
And it's been so hard to get them to like send or be like, hey, I want this book. And it's just like, ugh. they make it so hard to request something if they don't have it. I mean,
I don't like how Libby is now, where because like since they don't have the overdrive part, they don't have like you know how you could go on the overdrive website and do the request. I don't like this thing
you
where you just
can't
have
do
to
it with Libby, and it makes me so mad.
you're supposed to just put in like notify me and hope your library buys it.
Yeah, which in the area I live in with some of the books I read, I doubt.
And my local branch is really bad at buying books on Libby. Actually, I think the librarian
I
told me
understand
that
it's
they focus
expensive. I'm
more.
not trying to be like ridiculous, but sometimes it gets annoying because it's like sometimes I don't know if I like the book, so I don't want to buy it. But like trying to get it through the library, if it's a newer title, like you're waiting 7 months, and then if you're doing it for a book club, you kind of are screwed either way. And I'm just like,
yeah, if it's not like a certain YA, or if the author is known, a lot of times my library is not going to have it on Libby. Well, my local library, because I have the free library affiliate card, and they tend to have more books on their Libby. So then I don't have Hoopla. Whereas my local library has Hoopla, and I feel like they put all their money into that because we have like 15 checkouts on Hoopla.
I only have 4, and it upsets me because there's so many books more on Hoopla that I want to read than on Libby. It upsets me so much.
Yeah, I maxed mine for November, and I was so pissed because then the one audiobook I wanted, it was literally 2 days before the end of the month. The one audiobook I wanted, they pulled it the next month. Like the publisher pulled it from Hoopla. I was so upset.
I created an account because so you can get a Nashville Public Library card if you live in the state of Tennessee. You have to just be a resident of Tennessee, and you pay $10 a year for the card, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that bad.
$10 a year isn't bad. Yeah, luckily for like the PA residents, the free library affiliate one is free. So that's why I have it. Because when I found that out, I'm like, ooh. But then like it expired at one point, and then I just went in and got a regular card from them.
Yeah, same. Because when I moved here during COVID, I couldn't physically go in, so they gave me like a temporary card number or whatever.
That
so
digital
when I had
card
to renew it, I had to go in.
Yeah, that digital card randomly expired, so I don't know how that worked out because I ended up just going in and getting a physical card.
Yeah. But they said because they're now open that they would prefer if I came in. And they didn't even like some of them are like $1, $2. They were like, you're a resident of the city, so you're fine. We see your address. You're good.
I'm like, your IG shirts, I want to make some, but I'm too lazy. Once IG gives me a problem, I just keep it in. IG editing can be so annoying sometimes. Especially like if you're putting text over it and the text ends up like aligning when you're editing it, and then sometimes it does not align when you go to post a video. That upsets me so much. It's a little bit of work.
Yeah, the problem I have is trying to have the captions on because it doesn't work with what I'm saying, and it frustrates me, so I don't do it. And I feel bad because I want to make sure like my stuff is accessible to everybody, but the captions don't.
The captions on IG are terrible.
Oh, they're so annoying.
Yeah, but I've been playing around with the reels a lot on there, and I like that they have like a longer time than YouTube, because YouTube you have to keep it at 60 seconds.
I was wondering why they're so short. I was wondering.
Yeah, YouTube you have to keep it at 60 seconds. On Instagram you can keep it at it gives you up to 1minute and 30 seconds. So I can make it a little bit longer there and actually tell you about the book versus just like hold it up.
Hi. Like
that's why lately, if you've watched, I've been holding the book up on ones here on YouTube, and then a lot. If you go to my Instagram, you'll hear me talk about books.
Yeah.
Yeah, like on Bookstagram, they definitely get gifted a lot of books, but sometimes it's just a matter of emailing the publisher, especially like I feel like the smaller ones are more.
Yeah, I have to get more comfortable with that. I haven't
Yeah.
gotten comfortable with that yet.
It takes you a little while to, like, get comfortable reaching out, but I do it all the time now, and I find, like, especially, like, the indie ones, they're good at sending, like, the book
I
despite,
might
like,
pick your brain.
my followers not being, like, extensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick your brain on that one.
I haven't even tried selling books yet. Like, there are certain ones, like, I wanna sell because I feel like I spent a lot of money on them, and some are
Make a
signed,
pen. Yeah, make a pango. I did.
but I know, like, books are so hard to resell because the value just depreciates so quickly, unless it's, like, a special edition.
And I'm not gonna be one of those people that like resells it for more than I like. I add the only thing I add in there is like if it's gonna cost me like $6 to ship.
Yeah, and that's the thing too,
I
I'm
don't like
like,
to I don't like the people that just buy to not even like the book just to resell it because I know it's a short
yeah,
run
and
or
that's the thing,
whatever.
like, I have to think about too, like, how much is it gonna cost me to have to ship these together, even media mail, you need to think about putting at least $5, $6 aside
And
for.
Tennessee sales tax is more than any other state in the United States. You have to factor. I have to factor that in as well.
Yeah, I will declutter in a heartbeat. I am pretty good at going through every season, picking out the books that I don't want anymore and just getting rid of them. I just don't have the space for it.
Yeah. My boyfriend makes fun of me because he says, I can tell whenever you're stressed because you just start unhauling stuff. Like I can tell when you're like stressed out, you just start getting rid of stuff.
I have not seen people do that books like matching like their outfits in a long time. And I found those videos to be very unique. I would like to see that trend make a return.
You
Not with
might
me though.
see one on my channel in April.
Not with me though, but like I'll watch other people. we get we get the grandparents out of this way. Yeah, I'm watching like the Amtrak content and it looks like a lot of fun. And you're over in California, right? So they have a lot of trains out there. They have some really cool ones.
I would love to go to like the UK and do it because a lot of
Yeah,
my a lot of my friends live in Germany. My friends from college live in Germany now, and you can just hop on a train and be in Paris in like 2 hours. I'm like, that's so awesome.
yeah, my mom wants to go to France this year with family. She doesn't know. We'll see because I'm like I would love to go and then be able to hop some countries while there.
Yeah, like because Europe is not that big. Like everything is like within a 2 hour train ride.
Hey,
Hi, Courtney.
the Book of Night was horrible. It was really bad.
I started to read it out of curiosity because I've never read anything by Holly Black, and I was like, no, no.
No, all
But
I
that's
read
the
was
good
the
thing about the
spiral.
library is I don't lose anything on it.
Yeah, I listened to it because the publisher gave me the audiobook, thankfully. I'm glad I didn't spend my money on it because
Yeah,
it was just boring. It was not good.
and I love that audio arcs are becoming a thing.
Oh, the
As
other
someone who
Black Girl
mainly
one.
reads through audio.
Yeah, I don't mind the audiobook arcs. I have a problem now with the AI that they're like the AI for the regular audiobooks that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like Amazon is now opening that up to indie authors where they can get an AI voice to do the audiobook.
Yeah,
And I don't like that.
and having my boyfriend's trying to get into like audiobook narration and voiceover work, so like having AI is just an issue. I'm not blaming anybody who uses it because
Yeah,
it is a cheaper option, but it makes it harder.
I understand like some people can't afford to get like a proper audiobook with the narrator, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, like a lot of people who are trying to get like into just like voiceover jobs, like a lot of actors who are having trouble getting like regular work, do get into audiobook narration. Like there are all these there are programs to help them get into it and
Yeah,
stuff. So we're like taking away jobs from people at a
exactly.
time when people really need jobs.
Yeah. I'm looking in the job field right now, and whew, yeah.
Yeah, I'm working with my career coach. We had a meeting this morning, and she's just like, "So, how's it coming along?" I'm like, "Not good."
But it's not just me. Like, I've been seeing videos all over Instagram. Like, everybody's like, I apply to all these jobs, and everywhere says it's hiring, but nobody seems to hire.
Yeah, a lot of places are always hiring, but it seems like they never find people. The courthouse is one of those places. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Why the
That's why
government
I
doesn't
stopped
want to hire
applying,
people?
because like every 6 weeks it was like, you can work for the city. I'm like, I applied for this 6 weeks ago. Why should I have to reapply?
I feel like you have to know somebody who works for the city to get in with the
Or
city.
you have to be related to somebody that already works there or
Yeah,
something.
like, because I'm like, you're always hiring, yet I could never even get to the interview stage.
Yep.
But no, a lot of industries are just really terrible right now. Like my career coach is just like, he was saying, oh well, reach out to your contacts from the industry. I'm like, my contacts in the industry are also currently jobless, most of them right
Well,
now.
that's the problem, is like
Um,
a lot of people are getting the jobs but being let go. I can't tell you how many people I know who have been let go, who've been working at a place for like a year, 2 years. My friend just got let go after working for a company for 20 years, just for
yeah, like
no
I was
reason.
working for 7 years with the same company, just like hopping around it because they had a lot of opportunity to, like,
Right.
if you didn't like your position in one part, you like go to another part of the company.
Yeah.
So that's what like a lot of us did, or some people were in the same position for so long. So now, like the people who got let go right before me, like a month or two before me, or like are just now starting to find jobs.
Yeah.
And they were let go like a month or two before I even got told that I
Yeah.
was going to be out of a job,
Mm-hmm.
because I had that
And
whole like extra
it's
month.
frustrating because it's like, I have the experience, just no one's hiring me.
Yeah.
But yet they want so much experience, but like, you need to hire people to get the experience. Ugh.
Yeah, and then I'm like I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing I was doing before, but I
Yeah.
can't go back and follow my degree because I would have to basically start from the bottom. And I'm
Yeah.
not, because they want so much experience for in that field, and I've
Yeah.
not been in that field in a minute, and I'm like, I'm not trying to do that because the bottom pays way too low.
That's why I kind of, if like it becomes public that like I make a YouTube channel, that's why I do a lot of the author interviews, because I could slowly turn this into maybe a contact with somebody who works in journalism, blah 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 blah. And because I've done this, even though I don't have work experience, it still technically counts.
Yeah, just like trying to see if you can like use those skills to.
Right, exactly. Not let them be rusty.
He says heading out. Enjoy. Thank you, Bethany.
Thank you, Bethany.
Yeah, I miss Overdrive too.
Me too. It was so much easier to look stuff up on Overdrive too.
It really was.
It was so much easier.
I hate that notification. My library keeps buying the books I don't absolutely want, but I keep putting them because they need to limit it up. Yeah, there's so many. Like I feel like they're just not on my Libby for my local library trying to buy the adult books unless they're popular. So I'm just not getting them.
And you're on the waiting list for like a
Yeah.
year.
Let's see what when my library got rid of it, I was torn. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. That she was talking about how there's so many good comic books on Hoopla. I haven't read a comic book
A
on
lot of
Hoopla
stuff, like
recently, but
even like UK shows that you can't get over here. Like I
yeah,
watched through Hoopla.
the TV and stuff too. I was helping my friend who just got a library card in Maryland. She was so Baltimore County has Hoopla, but they don't have Hoopla for audiobooks or ebooks. They have it for the newspaper, they have it for music, they have it for
That's
movies.
not helpful.
And
I
I'm
mean,
like,
it is for certain things,
I
but
mean, it is for like the movies and shows and stuff,
like it is for certain things,
but
but
I'm like,
the reason people get
that
a
is so
library card.
disappointing. Like they
Oh,
don't.
that's so
What do
sad.
you mean they don't have it? For, like, because I looked on their website, it told like it. They have it like this is the app for this. This is the app for this. This app for this. And since she's never used the library, like she's having trouble navigating it. So she's like, can you look into it for me? So I just explained it to
Yeah,
her. And I'm like, yeah, that's upsetting that they didn't buy the audiobook ebook version portion of Hoopla, because like you have to
that's the best
pay
way.
like so much depending on what tier you buy and what features you add, which is why
That's
I'm really glad my library does put money into Hoopla, because we have all the good features.
yeah. That's the thing. I just wish I had more holds. That's my biggest complaint with Hoopla. Because I have like 20 holds with my Libby account, but they never have anything that I want to read on them.
Yeah, my mom works at like near my mom's job, the library she goes into is in a shopping plaza. So luckily for her, she's like right there. She can just run
Yeah.
in quick on her lunch break sometime. But like that's very hectic.
And mine is right in the middle of downtown, so like parking isn't fun.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's that's my other obstacle. So the main branch of the library is downtown. Downtown is terrible with parking.
Yeah.
They're always ticketing people and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I walk sometimes, or I take the bus down there. But I like it's cold right now, so I really don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah. It's like 30 degrees outside right now. No thanks.
The library they come through. Yeah, I love my library overall. I need them to.
There's like little things I would
Yeah.
tweak. That's all.
I need maybe like we need a benefactor to donate a little bit more, because I mean they do a great job, like especially for the kids, like getting
They
them
have a fantastic kids area, but for
like
adults,
the kids. They have so many different clubs and activities
yep.
for them, and it's just been consistently always that way at that library. So like that's great for them. But I'm like, can you amp up the adult side a little bit?
And it's interesting because I came from a really good library system. I didn't realize how good my library was until I moved here. I was like, oh.
It was hearing other people talk about their library system on Booktube List. Actually, no, my library system is amazing.
Yeah.
But, like, we really have it great compared to a lot of people. I have quick books.
Hi, Paco. But my library is starting to get better with like adult classes. Like I just got one in my email saying that they have like a book binding class where you can make your like own journal or something.
Are you going to take that one?
I would really like to, because that stuff just interests me.
It's really interesting, and I love seeing like the people like on Instagram and Etsy do the book binding. I would love to learn.
It just
and
looks
then
like
you could turn it into a little side hustle if you
exactly.
Like it's like a skill people. It's a specialty skill people pay good money for,
and not a lot of people know anymore because of
yeah.
how books are being physically made.
Yeah, because like right now, I feel like everybody's on crochet.
My mom crochets, so
yeah,
my mom's been doing it for a very long time.
my sister picked up crocheting like back in 2020, early 2021. And it's just funny because I bought the kids crochet kits because I thought it would be like a good craft, and they were like Peanuts gang. But then she told me no, that's for like intermediate. And so I took them back, and now she's like really upset. She's like, I wish I would have just let you keep those, but I wasn't into crochet at the time because those crochet kits are so expensive, and I had bought them for like $4.
They are. I've been trying to get like my friend bought me a diamond painting kit for Christmas, so I want to do that.
I need to open up those watercolors I bought and never used.
Never used.
I bought watercolors like 2 years ago. It's still in the packaging.
They'll still work though, as long as they're sealed up. It'll still work.
They're sealed, so they'll still work. I just like I have the watercolor sketchbook. I have the watercolors. I have the paintbrushes, and I like just like cheap ones. I didn't spend a lot of money on. I think I bought it from like Five Below, but like I never did it.
Hey, that's the best way to start. Start with the cheap stuff, and then see what you like, and then go up and up and up. That's what I do.
Yeah, I am wondering how those audio, like the AI audiobooks sound, because I listen to text to speech like a lot. And I know somebody just had pointed out to me that NetGalley has read aloud. I didn't know that. So then I was looking into that.
When did that happen?
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because that'll really help me out. But it's very weird listening to the AI voice on NetGalley.
I have like a couple of the books I've gotten through NetGalley. I don't know if it's the file, but like the beginning of the chapters are like scrunched together.
Yeah, that's the
The beginning,
file and the way they
the
process
chapter
it.
name and the first paragraph are like smushed, and then the rest
Yeah.
of the book's fine.
Yeah, it's the way they format it for like sometimes when they do it, the Kindle version gets messed up. But
Yeah.
then when you look on the NetGalley app, it looks fine.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, why does this look okay? But when I'm reading it, when they sent me the thing and I'm reading it on my Kindle, it looks ridiculous and I can't read it.
Yeah, it is hard to find a job. Yeah, like my career coach too keeps asking me like, "Are you working part time? Are you doing volunteer work?" And I feel like I'm gonna have to go do volunteer work just to be able to get a job.
Well, that's what everybody told me because they're like, well, you can get in being a volunteer and then they'll hire you. I was a I was a volunteer at a Alzheimer's home for 4 years. Did they ever hire me? No. But did I spend money to go back and forth 4 days a week? Yeah.
Yeah, like volunteer work takes time, energy, money.
I
Working
should have been
part
getting
time for me
paid.
is just not worth it because I need the benefits. Like you're not getting your unemployment. I would like just no longer get the unemployment because I'm getting money from that. But then like I don't have like what I need to live
Right.
if I work part time because I need full
And
time.
that's the problem is like so many jobs down here are specifically part-time so they don't have to give you the benefits. And that
Yeah,
I need the benefits.
yeah,
That's
that
always hard.
sucks. So let's get another sprint started up because we've been talking for a minute.
It doesn't feel like we have, but we have.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let's do another 30 now that I've gotten like a lot of the work stuff I need to get for the blog done, like my
Yay.
interviews and some of my reviews scheduled. Now I can hop into actually working on the fantasy. So we're gonna go ahead and do
Yay.
a 30. All right.
Sorry about that. I don't know why it kicked me out.
I don't know you out either.
All of a sudden, I looked up and it was gone. I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, I like went to get you and I'm like, oh, she's gone. So how did everybody do that round?
I got halfway through a chapter because it's an hour long on audio, so this chapter one.
That's definitely progress. I ate, so that was good. And let me see how many words I got in. 59, so that's not bad.
Yay!
So I made a little bit of progress on the fantasy book.
Do you edit as you go, or do you just word vomit and then edit?
No, I can't word vomit.
I can't do it either.
I have to kind of like edit in a way, and then like a lot of the stuff I have to go back and look at, and sometimes if I go back I'm like, oh, this doesn't make sense, let me go rewrite this section.
Or you want to make sure it's like makes sense with the continuity of where you want
continuity too, because I'm trying to like one bit of advice I got when I first started working on it, I had somebody look over it, was they're like, make sure that your timeline makes sense. So they said one thing you can do is put the dates on top of the chapters. So I've been doing that and it's helped a lot. But at the same time, like sometimes I'll be writing it because I skip around and I'll like, oh yeah, that doesn't fit with the timeline. And I have to go make an adjustment, add some things here, or like different characters, I'll have to go add some things.
I don't know if that's just because I have like a copy editing and journalism background that I just like self edit myself. I'm gonna give it to somebody else once it's done, but I self edit myself in the process.
Yeah. So like I'm always going into different like previous sections sometimes and adjusting it too. Like I have to go back and read that section for whatever reason. Because like I do have a Discord for this project, so I have important things like about characters in Discord. I have random scene ideas. But at the same time, I'll be writing and then I'll be like, oh wait, does that contradict something I wrote previously?
Right.
Or how can I fit it in? Like, because I have such a huge cast in this book too, which makes sense. It's a mid-sized university. There's going to be a lot of people. Like, it's a secret society at like of magic users at a university. So
are you going to have like a character list?
Yeah, I have a lot of characters, so I'm going to have to do a character list, like just to make it easy. So I already have like the one running in my Discord.
Yeah.
With, like, basic facts about everybody to keep them straight. Who's like the good guys, who's the bad guys.
I really like what my friend Julie, she wrote the In Ash series, the first one's a Curse in Ash. She did the character list in the front.
I like when they do it in the front versus the back.
Yeah, and because I constantly am like going back and forth if it's in.
And you can't just flip back and forth anymore on Kindle.
No, it makes it so hard on Kindle. It's so annoying.
They used to let you just like scroll where you didn't actually have to like where it didn't actually go onto that page. And they did something recently where now you can't scroll it anymore. It automatically takes you to that page.
And they do it with text to speech too now.
Yeah, and it's so annoying because like I don't like because then you mess up your page on Kindle. It'll every time you open it, it's gonna go back to that page.
Yeah, it went from page 300 to 600. I was like, no.
Yeah, it did that to me the other day, and I re-downloaded the book from NetGalley.
I was like, oh my god, no.
Like I literally deleted it off my Kindle and re-downloaded it from NetGalley.
Yeah, that's a safer way to go.
But I can't do that all the time, so I'm just like
I
that's
know.
not gonna work. So I just prefer when that stuff is in front.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
You see how let's see. Tia Summers got another 400 some words down. You are in a roll.
Wow.
I'm at 1,358 for the total word count on the web. That's good. Still on the horror romance.
I'm really intrigued by the horror romance tag.
Two bags of clothes donated made it to chapter 15. Still trying to figure out why the killer clan is after them and why they're not leaving. I take my chances in the rain. Elle, I hope the book is going good for you. I said it wasn't for me, but I'm sure I've heard other people say they liked it. Like I think Bonnie liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And at least said she was thinking the same thing when she read it. Chelsea passed on through. Hello.
Hi.
And there were at least 2 chances to just leave in the rain. And he was hoping everybody is doing well. Yes. Yeah, that's the thing about YA2. Sometimes just like the actions just don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to hand wave that they're young.
That's what I have to remind myself. Like, what would I have done at 15? We all did dumb stuff when we were 15.
Yeah. The friends have gone pretty well. Like we did a lot of talking in the middle there.
Yeah.
But I accomplished some stuff. I finished writing a review for a book, so I can get a review up this week.
Yay.
And I started putting I did a author interview, and they finally sent me back the questions with the answers. So
Yay.
I put that into a doc for the blog, and I started adding the pictures. So I just have to tweak that around a little bit and then schedule that because I need to put that up for next week because they specifically asked me for like sometimes publishers will ask you to put it up on a certain day.
Yeah.
So they specifically asked me to put it up next week on a specific day. So I'm going to do that.
That's what happened with Julianne Lindsay's last book. Like, I got the arc in April, but I couldn't release the review until like the end of September because it was coming out mid-October.
Yeah, so they wanted you to put it up in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I get why they wanted me to do this interview and put it up because in time for like the book is coming out the next day. So
yeah, that makes complete sense.
So I'll at least have 2 blog postings soon, which I'm trying to get back on my blog grind because I was so much better at it and then kind of like fell off last year.
It happens.
And so I want to get on making sure I at least post once a week on there and try and do some posts outside of just reviews, which has been hard because I find that it's hard to balance because I was then using a lot of the same ideas for booktubes. I didn't want to do it there and on the blog, even though I have sometimes different people reading versus people watching.
I have such a hard time like deciding on what to say in reviews that I do for YouTube. Because like I'm not sure if I want it to be spoiler free, but some books you just can't do without talking about spoilers.
Yeah, some books you cannot be too vague. Because then you have nothing to say about the book.
Exactly.
And that's like the hard part.
And that's where like some of my reviews on Goodreads aren't even like full reviews because it's like I don't want to spoil people, but this book is so good I don't know what to say about it. Like,
yeah, like when the twist is the best part.
Yeah, and you're just like, but that'll ruin the book for 90% of people.
As I said, the horror romance is also a blend of survival horror and psychological horror with other elements. Interesting. I don't think I've read a horror romance.
I've read one.
Because I read House of Hunger, but I don't consider that like a romance. The relationship in there was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't a romance. What was it called? It was a book by Harley LaRue. It was a horror romance. As I look on Amazon because I can't remember the name.
And then horror is such a popular like genre right now. I haven't read too much of it because I'm like, I feel like it's hard to horror books are not like horror movies.
Yeah.
They're very different, and I feel like because a lot of people are jumping into horror right now, some of the stuff is like kind of creepy, but it's not necessarily horror. Like it's more like a dark fantasy.
That's where I struggle, is like things that are categorized as horror aren't really horror. Like some of the stuff for the masses, I mean. Like
Yeah.
Like the stuff that's sold through like Book of the Month isn't really horror. It's thriller at most.
Yeah, it's like thriller at best. Like, for example, I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me. That's not horror, and she didn't intentionally write it as horror, but that's what her publisher like was pushing it as.
I'm still really intrigued to read it. I haven't read it yet.
But it's not like horror.
And everybody, like, I hate to be one of those people, but everybody loves Stephen Graham Jones now, which is fantastic. He deserves it. But like, I've been reading him for years, and I'm just like, yeah, he's a very specific type of horror writer. If you don't like him, you don't like him, and that's okay. But he writes so differently too. Like each one of his books is written so differently that like I tell people, even if a certain book didn't work for you, try something else by him because he always writes so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just some people that are just shock horror that I can't even read.
Yeah, that like some of them are just like have a dash of supernatural in it, and they're calling it horror.
Or if it's like witchy, it's being called horror, and I'm like, no, that's just paranormal.
Yeah, I'm like, there's some paranormal in it, or like some of it. Like I've read one that was like magical realism, almost, and I'm just like, not even. It was more like something psychological.
And like everybody calls it literary fiction.
Contemporary. Yeah. Like it was basically something like if it was adult, it would have been general fiction, but since it was YA, they try to shove it into horror, and I'm like, this is not horror.
But then it gives people like the wrong idea. If you go in thinking something's a horror book, and you're like, well, if this is horror now, I don't want to read it. What you're being sold isn't what the actual book is.
Yeah, that's like the bad part too, when publishers promote a book as one thing and then it's not that, and then you're disappointed. And like I feel bad for the author too, because it just sets like they have the wrong people coming to look for their books. Like even if their publisher
the wrong expectations.
Even if their publisher promotes their book really well and they sell a lot of copies, like okay, but then a lot of people are not going to pick up another book by the author if they don't like the one that they did pick up.
Like I read, what was the other one? Not House of Hunger, The Year of the Witching.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was horror either.
No, that one wasn't horror. That one was like a fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't like know why they pushed that as horror.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you went in thinking that was horror, you were going to be disappointed.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Is coming from reading like Stephen Graham Jones and Brandon Massey and stuff like that, and then I read that and I'm like, that's not horror though. I like how it was written, but it wasn't horror at all.
No, that was a fantasy with then like I would even maybe stretch it to dark fantasy, but it wasn't the horror.
Yeah, they had elements of stuff. And the only other horror romance that I've read is Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue.
I heard of that one. I think Nicole was talking about it.
I really, really liked it. I haven't continued the trilogy, but if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's available on Kindle Unlimited if you're interested.
You know, I hate when it's magical realism and they try to market it as something else.
They did the same thing with Sarah Penner. Her books are more literary fiction, but because they involve witches, they're under magical realism when there's nothing really witchy about it.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, just put it in as general fiction. Like, if you're not sure where to categorize it, because I'd rather they do that than try and push some of these stories as fantasy. Like, I need the fantasy to actually be there. Just like, I feel like we're slowing down a little bit, but a lot of the paranormal romances, like in trad, I miss
real paranormal romance.
They do not read like the paranormal romance in indie pub.
Yeah.
And they do not read like the paranormal romances of the 2000s at all.
I miss good paranormal romances.
Yeah, all this good like stuff seems to be in indie right now because it's definitely not in trad. Like, I have not read one good one that labeled itself paranormal romance. I'm like, half the time the magic is not there.
I missed
that vampire one I read last year.
Oh, the vampire roommate one?
That one, the premise was so interesting. Like, they had
but
all
everybody I know hated it
for a good story, and then it was just not good. And I'm like, this is not like a paranormal romance. Like, the vampire stuff barely comes up. Like, and the world building is like, so you saw Buffy, right?
Mm.
And I'm so sick of people like expecting everybody to have watched Buffy, and then that's the whole world building. Like, well, this happened on Buffy.
I didn't watch Buffy till much later, and I don't feel like it held up.
I never watched Buffy except for the first 2 episodes last year for the first time, just to see what all the hype was about. And I'm like, this does not hold up. Like, you know how you can rewatch Charmed, and you can rewatch Charmed from like any episode and it holds up?
I love Charmed. It's one of like
Charmed is nice because it has that episodic format where you can literally start it anywhere and it holds up and it's fine. And it doesn't feel like distinctly strictly 90s.
Yeah. And the same thing with, I know it came out in the 2000s, but the Good Witch series from Hallmark.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my comfort show for me because you can literally pick it up anywhere.
Like, Buffy is not one of those shows you can just jump into. Because I left the TV on the other day and it was on Fuse and it was like rerunning on there and it was like a musical episode or something and it was just like really cheesy. The monsters look so fake.
Yeah.
Because they had that like 90s like prosthetic look.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And I'm like, and I'm seeing Buffy references a lot in books for like middle grade and YA, and I'm like, the kids
like
are not watching.
Doesn't know what Buffy is. Why are you putting it in a middle grade book?
That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing it in the comps. I'm seeing the references on page. I'm like, the kids do not know Buffy.
I can see the adults because we're of the age of parents now.
Buffy was like before my time. Like, I was a little kid when that was on. So like
97, 98.
Yeah, I was a little kid during Buffy's prime. So it's not even in my time. Like, you have to. The people who enjoyed it in real time are like the older millennials.
And I feel like it's...
And everybody who's not an older millennial who enjoyed it kind of watched it in the reruns. And I feel like there was a wave of you either watched it in real time or you watched it in reruns in the early to mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
And I never watched Buffy or its spinoff in the reruns. Like, I remember at the time when Angel was rerunning, I was watching Dark Angel instead.
Yeah. I watched Angel, I'm not gonna lie, because I liked Spike as a character. And that was it. Because a friend of mine knows James Marsden, and he's like a real sweet guy. Who does audiobooks now. If you ever read what are they, the Dresden Files? All the audio is done by him.
When I was in first grade, and my parents said it was demonic. Listen, Buffy was on. I wasn't even in school yet when
I think that was like Buffy's run.
So it's just like I say, that's before my time. And I only know some of the stuff. Like when I watched the first episode, I knew the characters. The only reason why I knew the characters was because in the late 2000s, a lot of people did those AU fics that crossed over with Buffy.
Yeah.
That is the only reason why I went in knowing who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, when I sat there and tried to watch it, and I watched the first 2 episodes, I'm like, this is really, really 90s. And like there's 90s shows that hold up. That is not one of them. It feels strictly of its time.
That's how I
I
feel
would
about
agree.
Gilmore Girls.
Sabrina and Clueless do hold up pretty well.
Clueless is the bomb, and yeah. I can quote that whole entire movie to you right now.
Yeah. Like I remember even watching like Clueless, the TV show, in high school, like because during the reruns, and like there's just a lot of stuff in general that's just very teenly in that, so it holds up like way better.
When it's actually made for the people that are supposed to be watching it, I feel like it holds up.
Yeah. Charmed is good because you can like I would do that a lot. Like we used to do that a lot in my household. Like my dad was like on a whole kick a couple years ago watching Charmed all the time, and I used to watch Charmed.
It was always on in the morning when I would make coffee.
Yeah, it was always on TNT. So like if you needed something to watch and there's nothing on TV, Charmed is there. And like I said, it works so well because you can pick it up on any episode.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Supernatural, to an extent, you can do that too, but I never have gotten like.
I never got into it
like that. I've watched multiple episodes and I wasn't lost. I just was not interested.
Yeah, and it's so long that I'm just like, with those long running shows, I'm just like, do I want to sit here and watch 15 seasons?
Now, my sister said Supernatural jumped the shark multiple times before it ended.
Oh yeah.
Because she was like the stan of Supernatural at one point. She's like, you don't need to watch that show. She's like, even her, she stopped watching before the end.
Because there are so many shows that I used to love that I stopped watching.
Yeah, she said it got so bad she stopped watching it well before the end. But it just like, these like some of the seasons were pointless because like you basically found out like the one season was a dream and stuff like that. Like they would just throw anything. That. They would just throw anything in there.
I hate that in books too.
Yeah, when it's all
it was a dream or whatever. I'm just like, stop.
I blame Dallas. Everybody started doing it after Dallas, and it's never good. Like it didn't even work on Dallas. So I don't understand why people copy that. Because I heard the old people were like really upset back in the day when that happened.
Yeah, my grandmother was upset.
The Flash, I think I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons and then I kind of fell off of that show. And I never really liked the team. And all the CW superhero shows were doing that team. Like something about the Flash team just annoyed me so much. So I did not stick with it that long. If it was just like him and Iris and like trying to solve like and trying to solve cases like how it is in the like the original comic, not that New 52 reboot, I would have liked it better. I feel like with that New 52, they were in the everything is dark wave over in DC, and that annoyed the crap out of me during that era too.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I hated Killer Frost. She got on my nerve, and I feel like because like the character got popular, like they kept pushing the actress, like because she was very popular in spite of the story.
Yeah,
and I hate when shows do that. Like nothing will ruin a show faster if the actress is popular and they start to push them despite it not making any sense. Because they just find like little ways to put that character in like every scene, and that like I could not stick with the Flash for long. That's the thing too. Barry was a scientist and he was stupid.
See, that's a trope I don't like in books either. When they tell you a character's so smart, but yet they're so dumb.
It gets annoying.
Oh my god. I DNF'd the Cozy Mystery that did that. The character was just that like trope of like too stupid to live. And I'm like, you have a business degree. Why are you so dumb?
I can't stand that. Like I love cozy, but at the same time, there's some that are like big. When a cozy is a miss for me, it is a big miss.
Like it was bad. I was 3 hours into the audio, and I'm just like, I want to chuck this across the room. Like this is
Like if the main character is too annoying, like because obviously we know they're gonna get into some sticky situations with their sleuthing,
yeah,
but when they are like constantly getting like in the way of the investigation, thinking that they're trying to solve it, that gets on my nerves.
yeah. I've become one of those people that I only trust cozies by certain authors.
Yeah, like you can't go into like everyone. I remember one too I read um a couple of years back. It was set in a college town. And the lady was like so stuck up. She was only like 33 or something, but she acted so old and like she had these girls living with her who were attending the college because they didn't have anywhere to go, and like she was like just really uptight about like cursing and sex talk and everything, and it got on my nerves. I'm like, you are in a college town,
It's
like
gonna happen.
like you are going to hear some stuff because you're catering to. She had like some business where
Right.
she was catering meals for college students,
That drives me nuts.
and I guess like she had these like really like conservative ideas of relationships and stuff that was annoying.
And I also feel like you can tell if the author's a lot older by how the characters are written sometimes. Like, I'm like, have you talked to a 22-year-old lately?
Yeah, like when the characters are 20 something and they
And they
don't
sound like
feel
they're
like
16.
yeah, I've like not even 16. Like I've read a lot where they're 20, supposed to be 20 something, and they read like they're about 60, 70.
Yeah, like they'll sit with a cardigan with.
Yeah, and pantyhose, and
Yeah.
I've DNF'd a lot of cozy mystery series.
The one I really liked, and I can't find book 2 anywhere, is the plot is Murder by V.M. Burns.
I couldn't get behind that one, but I did read book 2 like a while ago. I think book 2 was the only one I did read. She has another one like with also with dogs that I did not. Oh my gosh, I could not stand that one. There was like this old lady. I think she was Italian. As the protagonist, and she like I didn't know.
Was there a massive like Italian stereotypes? Because that gets on my nerves. I'm not gonna lie to you, like that gets on my nerves.
I couldn't even remember. I just remember like she like I think her husband had cheated on her or something, and she was like starting over anew. Some nonsense. I couldn't get into that cozy. I know there are a lot of them with like Italian, like cozies,
and everybody somehow is connected to the mob. I'm like,
well, the one I do like
just
is
watch Sopranos. Like,
the one I do like is the one about the mob. Like they're
I want to read that. I want to read that one because you recommended it to me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that because I know it going in, but like,
yeah, you know, going in like they're gonna make fun of the mob.
Now.
You know, going in like the one book, like they make fun of Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
and like mob wives and like those types of reality shows.
And I love how like TikTok is like now getting the mob wife aesthetic, and I'm just like, please. Growing up in Jersey, I'm like, stop it. Stop.
Yeah, like they make like these are those types of Italian people, and you know it going into the book. Like,
yeah, that's fine. It's just
type of Italian people.
I don't like how they're like, oh, well, they're Italian, but they're secretly connected to the mob, and that's that's why they're in this situation, and that annoys me. I'm just like,
yeah, like this one's a running like joke. Like they are like they are a part of the mob. Like it's the mob going because the premise is the mobsters going straight.
Right.
But yeah, there's some ones too, like there's everybody always has a spaghetti restaurant.
And it bugs me.
Yeah, they always have like the mobster bad guys and the spaghetti restaurant.
Yep. And you can tell by the way some people write food that they're not Italian, because that's not how people say it. Like, I nitpick with that kind of stuff because I'm like, I grew up in a foodie family. Like, I grew up knowing how to cook and making meatballs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I guess like it doesn't click.
No.
And I do like cozies too, where they put them in big cities. I feel like that kind of makes it a little bit different.
Yeah, that's why I like Death by Dumpling, because that's in Cleveland, I believe.
Yeah. I find that some of the ones I've liked the most have not been in small towns. They've been in
Yeah,
like major cities, but like they show like you can have your community in a major city.
yeah. Like one of Julianne Lindsay's series, it's under one of her pen names. I think it's Julie Chase, that book series. But it's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah, so you get something like a little bit different and there's still like
Yeah,
endless possibilities.
yeah. You still
And
get the
sometimes
small
you get
town
different
vibe, but
jobs.
you hear them going to New Orleans or something like that.
Yeah, and then sometimes you get different careers too. Like I like when the protagonist is not the typical baker or knitter or whatever stereotype job
Yeah.
they give you in the
My
cookie
favorite,
industry.
the reason I like this series is like she started out as a sewer, but then started making clothes for pets. That's her store, was making clothes for pets. I was like, that's a
Yeah.
little bit different.
Yeah, I like the different ones. Yeah, the vacation ones are good too. Um I I also I know like a lot of people have like a problem with the Hannah Swenson series. That
Some of
one,
them,
I remember my mom read like one or two of them. I could never get into that one. I remember what like because they have they had like the Hallmark movies. I think they restarted it actually.
yeah.
Recently they restarted the Hallmark series for that. My mom and like sister love that Hallmark series.
See, that's the thing. Like some of these books that are turning into shows, I like more as the show.
Hmm.
Like there's what was it called? Murder in G Major.
Yeah,
They made that as they made
they
that
made
as
that
series.
into a movie series and it's like completely different basically.
Yeah,
Like there's a couple of like things that are the same, but other than
yeah.
that, it's very
I thought
different.
that was like those books are a little long. That was my biggest complaint. They
Yeah,
were a little
the
long.
books are kind of lengthy. They could like he needed to tighten up it, and then like there's no romance, and you kind of do wish there was like a little
Yeah, there
bit
doesn't need to be like
because she's like the only woman in town basically.
yeah. And I think the reason I got really upset with the Hannah Swenson series was it the Hannah Swenson series that like it was constant. Will she pick this guy or this guy? And by
Yeah,
like
I
book
heard she has
15, I
like
was like, I'm
5
over
love
it.
interests in the book. Because my mom had picked up just like a book randomly from the series from the library, and she's like, "In the movie, we're watching these two, but there's a whole nother guy here too. She's
Mm-hmm.
trying to marry."
And then they all three agree to like not be exclusive because like she hasn't made up her mind or whatever. And then she gets mad when she sees one of the guys on a date. But I'm like, you have a conversation in the book where you're not exclusive. What's the problem?
Like, if you can't handle being a part of this love square, I don't know why you.
Stop it. And that's why I kind of gave up on the books. I'm like, okay, you can see maybe like 2 or 3 books where there's tension because you can tell one other character likes the character and yada yada yada. But like this was book like 15 and I was like, I'm over it.
Yeah, that series is very long because she's
It's
still
like up
putting
to
out books
40
in that
something at
series.
this point.
It's like
It's
I
not
think it's almost as long as the Murder She Wrote series.
yeah. Though I
And
won't lie to you, I do love that show. That's a comfort show for me. Like I can just put that on and just do what I need to do. Angela Lansbury is awesome.
yeah, like I don't use if it's a long running cozy mystery series though, I won't start it from book one.
No.
Like the people who have to start everything from book one, like regardless if even if it's a romance or a mystery,
But they
good.
tell enough in it so you understand what's happening,
Yeah,
even if you're not picking it up from book one.
yeah, like I don't have that problem, thankfully, because I would not be able to pick up a 10-book series like that
Mm-mm.
for a cozy and start at book one.
I think at most, like Julianne Lindsay's working on one that she knows it's going to be 8 books and she's 5 books in. So like that, I don't mind because it's like it's over by book 8. You go in there knowing that it's like I think between 4 and 8 is where you should go with cozy mystery series. After that, I feel like it's too much.
Yeah, because there's some long ones. Like there's like that one about the diva does like whatever.
Yeah, I forget who wrote that one, but yeah, I know exactly
you know what
what
I'm talking about, right? Like it's
Mhm.
like they have so many ones in that book. Like she even repeats like multiple seasons. That one I couldn't really get into either.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing it in like the library had all of them back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like
got
that
sucked
one
into
is a
the Cat
long
Who
one.
series when I was a kid. I think it was called the Cat Who series, where like
Yeah.
the cats helped the guy figure out who murdered people. His two pet cats. That's all I really remember.
Yeah, there are certain series that like cozy mystery series that are really, really long. And I'm like I can't even start. I wouldn't be able to start from book one at all.
No.
Plus, I feel like after a while, I'm like, doesn't it repeat? Like, I feel like with the Hannah Swenson, doesn't it repeat?
And
Basically.
that's what irritates me too with like the people that complain about, well, this book is book 15 in a series of Harlequin, but Harlequin writes it in a way that you don't have to read them in.
Yeah, I like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's book 15 and the spin-off of the spin-off of the
30.
spin-off of this series, but you
Yeah.
don't have to read
Like
any
the
of those
Cattleman's
series.
Club that's been
Yeah,
going
the
since
Cattleman's
the
Club,
80s.
you're gonna like if you feel like you need to start that from the beginning, go right ahead. You're gonna be reading for
Where
years.
are you gonna find them though? They're from like the
Yeah.
80s and they don't even have them on a Kindle.
Like you don't even need to start from the beginning of the spin-off series that you're
Mm-mm.
in. You just need to pick up a book. And
I'm
I
so
prefer it
sad
that
that
way.
they got rid of Desire. I'm very sad that they got rid of Desire.
I am. I know they put the Cattleman on a podcast now. There's like a
Yeah,
podcast. I have not listened to the podcast yet.
me either. It's on my list though to listen to.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked long enough. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the sprint here.
Okay.
Thanks for everybody who tuned in and joined and read and chatted. Do you have any announcements that you need to make?
I am going to have a live TBR with Shay from Shay with the Hobbies on my channel at 8 p.m. tonight PST. So that's 5 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. CT. We're going to discuss my TBR and the readathon tonight.
Oh, that's good. So we definitely want to check out your channel at 8 p.m. tonight. I don't have anything special going on. I dropped my TBR already for February. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out. I had some interesting books on there. But
I really want
other
to
than
read
that,
Son of the Storm. I saw you had book 2 on there.
yes, I do have book 2, and I will be reading that there for February. I do have some interviews coming up. Keep an eye out. I am going to have an interview with Ladarian Williams. I just need to make the graphics and stuff,
Yay.
so you guys will know when that one is coming, so you can tune in. And other than that, thanks so much for watching all.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.